was so much easier to light these when I had a smaller phone. I had a phone.
So gigantic!
Phones were getting smaller over time. Now they're just getting bigger.
Yeah, you need a bigger screen for your porn. I mean, small screen. I mean, it's just...
It's very true. I don't like having to put on my glasses every time I look at porn.
There's no definition in the clitoris when you get a smaller phone. You need the bigger phone to see all the definition.
That's very true. I mean, that's better than just hauling the laptop off to the bathroom with me. That looks suspicious.
That's a good segue into talking about priests molesting boys, isn't it?
Oh, God, considering the fact that my double feature today was a movie about Mother Teresa, followed by Spotlight. And the pedophilia one's a way better movie.
Yes.
The Mother Teresa one of the worst movies I've seen of the year. This one of the best.
So basically, Mother Teresa, Mr. Collins, you needed to diddle a little boy.
Oh, God.
See? You played it straight. You didn't get any press for that, no.
It's like...
You got a terrible movie out of it.
2 fast food mascot movies come out, and the Jared Fogle one is way better than the Ronald McDonald one. You know, it's almost kind of coincidental that these two movies are arriving at Springfield at the same time. I haven't been this suspicious since Old Fashioned opened opposite 50 Shades of Grey. At least in that case, the guy who made Old Fashioned was like, yeah, we deliberately released it at the same time.
It's like, give you a choice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so... You made the remark after this movie that that you couldn't think of a time where there was a big audience in there, that once the movie ended, just no one wanted to get up.
Right. Yeah.
And I did have that experience at the Mother Teresa movie, because it was a very large audience. Not in that there was a lot of people there. It was just a large audience. There was a 90-year-old woman who was asleep in the back, sitting directly behind Antique Ankles. Neither one of them wanted to get up when the movie was over, because I think they died.
Maybe they were waiting for assistance.
Right. God. This is the Hollywood Boulevard Theater, right? It's going to be a waiter any minute. He'll help me up.
Yeah, it was very surreal, because it wasn't, like, we left, we were the first ones to leave, and it was a couple minutes before we even left. And everybody else was just, I mean, I was kind of like, should we go? Are we supposed to stay?
It's a Mark Ruffalo movie. You gotta stay.
Is he hulking out at the end of this? Is that what they're waiting for? Mm-hmm. Is there a stinger I'm missing?
Well, all it took to uncover thousands of pedophile priests was Batman working with the Hulk.
Think about it that way. Yeah. Yeah. It's very true.
Mm-hmm. That's what it took.
Edited by none other than Sabretooth.
Yeah! Exactly.
Oh, shit.
This movie will just piss you off. And I mean that as a compliment to the movie. Because holy shit. Oh, yeah.
It very much should.
Uh-huh. I remember this all happening.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
It was huge. It was fucking huge. Especially, I mean, it's interesting, too, that they... touched upon 9/11 happening in the movie too, because I do remember that being like, I know it's been 14 years ago, but I do remember like that being like 9/11 happens, and then that was like
it was
the next big story.
Yeah, it was a bad time.
Yeah, that didn't have anything to do with terrorism or war or anything like that. Here is this. Oh wow. This huge fucking bombshell that comes out, which was always something that we always joked about as kids, you know?
It was. I mean, obviously not. This is a small town that we don't really have those kind. At least I don't know that we've had those kind of issues. We've had priests handcuff themselves and get stuck in a in a church before with a gag stuffed in their mouth.
Yeah.
But I think that was more consensual than that was just a freaky deaky priest. But
I don't remember anything like that ever happening around here. Which I guarantee, like at the end of this movie, when they're showing the lists of like 100+
huge.
locations where like big scandals like this have occurred, everyone who goes to see this movie will be looking to see if their town is on there.
Yeah.
And I got worried at first when I saw
It's like-
Springfield. Springfield. Oh god. Oh, Massachusetts. Okay. I saw Joliet on there.
Joliet, Chicago, and Peoria.
Chicago. Yeah.
And Peoria's only an hour away. So that was...
Peoria's close.
Yeah, and I'm surprised. I don't think I ever read about Peoria being. I mean, maybe I did and just missed it. But yeah, I was just kind of like, oh, that's a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. But yeah, I mean, this thing, it was huge. It was huge at the time, and I mean, it still is in regards to how the Catholic Church goes about.
Oh, this
doing
is
things
practically
now.
a mafia movie. Like, it practically is.
Of course it is. The Catholic Church is more powerful than the mafia and the mob ever were.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, most mobsters and mafia that you think about, and you like throughout like any like movies or thing, they're all Catholic.
Oh,
They're all Catholic.
think of this. Think of some of the best Catholic Church scenes in movies ever.
The
9
baptism
times
scene.
out of 10, it's a mafia movie. The baptism scene in The Godfather.
Yes. Oh, yes.
It is usually a mafia
Yes.
movie.
Yes. But, I mean, it's just... It was inexcusable, the amount of power and amount they were allowed to get away with for as many years as they did.
The sheer amount of cover-up that has to do with covering 3 figures worth of priests in a single city.
Yeah.
1,000 victims in just, again, a single city.
Right.
And what this movie does well is that, yeah, you sit there the entire time like, you motherfuckers, all you did was just move them around and try to sweep this under the... That's all you fucking did? Oh my fucking god, that is just... It's literally fucking criminal. But it also is about how... This movie is also about how the stuff could just inadvertently, without necessarily even trying, will just go unnoticed by either lawyers or the newspaper or cops.
Well, and just how entrenched the Catholic Church was in Boston, to where you got cops that don't want to arrest a priest.
Mm-hmm.
You've got money being filtered in so they can get lawyers.
You got
And
a
instead
newspaper that, like, doesn't even want to touch that.
They write stories, bury them in like a metro section.
Yeah.
Do no follow-ups. And it was a story of what was it, 20 at the
20.
time?
It was 20.
When they reported it was 20 different
It was 20,
priests.
and he doesn't even have, when they're talking about it in this movie's present day, 2001, he doesn't even have a memory of doing it.
Yeah, because it was like
93.
close to 20.
Yeah. He said it was like near
10
20.
Years.
Oh, okay.
Because at the time it would have been 10 years. About 10 years prior, and they just buried it. And people were sending them stuff. Like one of the guys who helps them out in the movie, he's like, I sent you all this stuff 5 years ago, and you buried it. You didn't talk, you didn't follow up with me, you didn't talk to anybody, you just buried it.
And it's even more than that, like, it's coming from that dude who's a victim, but also it's coming from Billy Crudup in the movie, who is a lawyer. And at first you're thinking, like, oh, this bastard, like, he's, just swept this under the rug along with the Catholic Church. But even he says, like, I did try sending you stuff like this.
He's the one that sent the 20 names.
Yeah.
Well, and that, so it's like, so you've got all these people leaning against each other. So when you get a victim, one, they don't want to come forward. Two, when they do come forward, the church was quick to settle. Yeah. And the great thing that they did, the sinister thing they did, was they got personal lawyers to settle out of court.
Yeah.
So there were no court documents, no records of these settlements. they were able to pay him 20 grand was
Yeah.
just a flat fee max, and the victims had to sign a confidentiality agreement, basically saying they would never talk about it.
Yeah.
How just sick is that? Most of these, and they're kids in some cases. Some of these people killed themselves.
Oh, yeah. Like, they're talking about there's a great scene in the movie where it's two different people talking at the same time and they're edited into each other. One guy is talking and he's breaking down about it, and you see he has track marks on his arm. And this guy whose life has just been destroyed, and he has marks on his arm and bruises and everything. And after you've seen this guy, and dude is sitting there and says, like, no, he's actually one of the lucky ones, because he's still alive.
Yeah.
And this is in between the dude who was gay and came out to his priest. Who, oh, God. And
Who was talking about his alcoholism battle with it because of it. It's...
he can't even deal with the fact... He grows up... And it's hard for him to deal with the fact that he's gay because his first experience talking to somebody about it is this priest who molested him. My God, this movie. This movie is... For everyone who certainly remembers when this story came out, it's not so much that, the movie's giving you... new info or something like that, other than looking at the mass amount of numbers, but it is just one of those things where when you see it played out in front of you in a narrative, in a story, and just simply watching it, like, it infuriates you watching it. It's like, I know what the Holocaust is, but if I'm watching something about it, it's still going to infuriate me.
Of course.
Yeah,
knowing what the Holocaust is and then watching Schindler's List. Completely, it's two separate things. It's putting a face to the atrocity is what it is. So you've got these reporters basically showing us these victims. Instead of them being nameless victims in a news story that you read sometime, now you're watching this acted out, and you're watching these people break down, and it's rough.
I like the bureaucracy of this movie too. Like Stanley Tucci, like doing all of these loopholes to get these documents put out in public, even though they're sealed documents. But it's, how did that go exactly? Like, it was really quite genius.
So what he did? So there's a scene. The Globe, Boston Globe, is obviously the
that's
lead on that, breaking the story. Their Spotlight division. They are trying to get these documents that Stanley Tucci, his character, his lawyer, has uncovered on behalf of the 84 victims he was representing, and not as a class action, as each separate individual case, which probably was something that was argued through the Catholic Church, which was also a genius stroke, because it's much easier to dismiss each individual case than see one big class action. Usually it's a more uphill battle when you're fighting by yourself than being allowed to roll it all into one class action lawsuit and have everybody come together in unity. But the documents are sealed, so because it's an ongoing case. So the Globe sues basically the Catholic Church to unseal these documents. Well, what Stanley Tucci did was he had talked to a priest before, and that priest was became lawyered up through the church. So then he went, he didn't want to talk anymore. So then this priest actually talked to a different reporter. So then Tucci's character was able to ask for a second deposition, a motion to depose the priest again, and he was denied by the lawyer. Well, in doing so, Tucci's character was able to attach some of the documents to his motion as a reference point to, like, why do you need to depose him again? So he's able to attach these documents. Well, now suddenly, since that's an open case right now, it's being repealed. those are now public record. So in no uncertain terms, off the record, he tells Ruffalo's character that the 14 most damning documents that are sealed right now are actually public record because he had to attach it to this public motion. Which, again, is also something else because the Catholic Church steals those documents, basically.
Yeah.
Breaks the law,
Yeah.
removes the documents from the courthouse so they can't get to them.
Mm-hmm.
So then they have to file a motion. What Boston Globe does, where they file a motion to make Tucci's lawyer character resubmit the motion, thereby resubmitting all of the files that he had submitted before they can get at him.
Mm-hmm.
And they're very damning. So they're able to get those, and based on that, they're able to move forward. Because if there's certain parts when they're going through the story where they're getting stonewalled left and right because nobody wants to talk about it.
Yeah.
The lawyers that helped them, obviously the Catholic Church, even the victims. I mean, they've got victims who are getting violent with them, telling stay the fuck out of my way, leave my brother alone, this kind of shit. I mean,
that one priest who Rachel McAdams goes to his house, he flat out admits it.
Yeah.
Like, this radar-looking dude, like, she just straight up asked, like, did you molest kids? And he's like, oh, yeah. Yeah,
like,
I did.
I fooled with them. But he's like, but it wasn't rape. He's like, I would know rape because I was raped. And it's like,
oh my god.
Shit.
Yeah, he's all like, yeah, but I didn't enjoy it.
Right.
Like, fuck. And then his sister comes out of the blue and, like, is, like, pissed off and bringing him inside and yelling at Rachel McAdams. My god.
It was just... at every turn, it just reminded you just how deeply entrenched Catholicism was in these people's lives. I mean, and it was the poor, shameful kids. It was never the rich kids. It was always, ones who had absentee dads from the rough side of town.
Someone whose dad died.
Yeah.
Someone who comes from a broken home.
Yeah.
Someone who, if they're going to spill the beans about it, they're going to get ostracized.
Pretty much.
And watching this movie, like, hell, this dude comes up, like, when he's talking to Michael Keaton in the bar, the guy who works with the Cardinal, he's practically this Joe Pesci type figure who, in a smile and a wink, is, like, trying to talk him out of running this story because, hey, we're all in the same city here.
Right.
There's no scenes where, like, somebody's house gets shot up or anything like that, but not to say that I almost wasn't expecting that.
Right.
Like, somebody crossing the street and then suddenly getting hit by a car, or...
Yeah, there's a bunch of scenes where they're running across traffic. I'm like,
yeah.
I feel like they're going to get hit or something. Something's going to happen.
I feel like something really deadly's about to happen. Like, a fucking holy car bomb is going to go off. It's like, I don't remember there being, like, explosions or, like, people in trench coats and Tommy guns shooting up, like, reporters' houses when this story broke, but not to say that I'm almost... I'm kind of expecting it as I'm watching this movie.
We part of the Christ mob, yo. You don't cross us.
Yeah. Oh my god. And, like, when they're at first, they think, like, they're dealing with, like, 13 cases, like
13 priests.
Yeah, because they're looking through, like, the handbook that lists, like, all the priests in Massachusetts and, like, all the ones that are questioned where, like, yeah, it's possible, like, there were some allegations made. All of them are listed as being under, like, sick leave. Unassigned or something.
Emergency response, like, assigned to a treatment center or something like that.
And they're... At first, like, they think that number is big, like 13 people, they think that's fucking huge. Yeah. And then they're talking to dude on the phone who's had to deal with shit like this before, and he's talking about, like, the odds are, it's like 60% or something like
6%.
that. 6%. 6%.
Yeah.
6%. And so when they're saying we think we're dealing with about 13 cases here, and this guy's like, 13, really? Actually, it should be like a lot fucking more.
He's like, that's actually really... Because they were like, does that sound about right to you? And he goes, no, it doesn't. And you're like, okay. He's like, that sounds really low.
Yeah.
So then they figure out that there are 1,500 priests in the Boston area. So it comes out to 90 is the 6%. So then they start looking. Instead of trying to confirm the ones they already had, they went back through these. Because the Archdiocese, throughout every year, published like a directory of where each priest was and what parish he was at. So they start going back through these, not just looking for the ones that they were investigating before, but looking for any priest that had like sick leave or unassigned, any one of those designations, and it ends up being 87, which is right within that metric of what he said.
Smash cut to John Slattery, just 87. What the fuck?
Oh man.
Yeah, there was a good crowd in there. They ended up moving it to the bigger theater because it was in the smaller auditorium in this theater. And which that felt, this is so wrong in so many ways that like fucking The Letters was in the bigger theater and we go see it like this in the small auditorium that like movies that have been here for 3 weeks are. And they moved it to like the much bigger auditorium because even when I was here earlier, there was a big line to see this movie and like, you know, a few people for The Letters. Right. And so we're leaving the auditorium and we look up at like the little
the marquee
thing on top of it, and it had been switched to the night before.
Right. And they switched basically. The night before was in the theater next to it, so they just flip-flopped them. They're like, yeah, we're going to have a smaller turnout for night before, so let's go ahead and...
That's got to look hilarious as somebody sitting there with the marquee that says the night before, and out comes this, like, kind of older audience, and they're sort of crying. Wow.
Like, wow, this got deep, didn't it?
We did get a trailer for a Michael Shannon movie in front of it.
The Midnight Special.
Midnight Special.
I'd seen that trailer before. I was very intrigued as to what... I haven't... It's very vague as to what's going on in that trailer. I mean, intentionally, I'm sure
it's if Michael Shannon played Pa Kent.
Yeah.
That does look really good.
And Edgerton, too.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, holy shit.
I'm totally down for that. We got a much better roster of trailers in front of this than Dave and I got in front of The Letters.
Oh, I don't doubt it. Shit.
Although there was something really amazing in front of The Letters. It's a movie about... There's a vigilante Christian movie coming out. It's called The Masked Saint or something like that. And it's about a luchador who's white. It's about a luchador who is attacked and decides to... He's with the church and decides to become a masked vigilante in the name of Jesus. I can't wait.
What the fuck?
Like, it's hard for me to even describe it. Like, it's been like 4 or 5 hours since I've seen this trailer, but holy fuck.
It's shit like that that makes it hard to stomach when the Christians are like, we are so persecuted. What the fuck? You gotta release really a mass fucking luchador vigilante Christian vigilante? Are you fucking serious? That's gonna be in the theaters.
It'll be at this one.
Don't give me that shit about being persecution. There's no fucking way I could get a movie in here. But you push that piece of shit through, because I'm sure it's gonna be a piece of shit. Because they're all pieces of shit. But fucking hell. Seriously?
We got another one, too, that looked like that 90 Minutes in Heaven movie, sort of. It's with Jennifer Garner.
Where the kid falls out of the tree and his fucking tumor's magically gone.
We don't know what happened. Fell out of the tree, bumped
fell
ahead.
out of the tree.
Holy
it was
shit.
Jesus.
If your doctor doesn't know what happened there, then find another doctor, because I'm sure there's one that does. I can't even remember what else. There,
like, and that fucking premise. I'm just like, he fell out of the tree, didn't do any damage, but magically fell on whatever it was that was causing the ailment. It's gone.
I feel like I've seen the entire movie now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the premise. Okay, great. So you prayed, and it magically fell out of a tree.
Yeah.
Which is a weird fucking way to heal something. Oh, please save my kid. Fall out of a fucking tree. Really?
Oh, I tried that when I broke my foot. Tried getting in the tree, falling off.
Right.
That didn't help it at all. It had the opposite effect.
That's just like the premise for a Jackass sequel is what it is.
Right. Yeah. It's about time the boys made a religious movie. Right. I didn't expect it to be boring. I was just surprised that we didn't get God's Not Dead 2 in front of it. Or Batman v Superman. It's kind of about Jesus. And has a masked vigilante in it.
Oh, shit.
No, we got the Oscar, the awards season trailers in front of this,
right.
like Joy, which looks amazing.
David O. Russell, he's just not going to have a movie where Jennifer Lawrence is not in it anymore. And fucking De Niro and Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper.
Just put him in everything, it'll be alright.
Yeah, fuck it. That movie, I'm down with any movie that's got the Bee Gees on the trailer.
Of course, yeah.
Sold.
Oh, shit. It did look good, though.
That looks really fucking good. It's as much easier when Sarah's here, because she writes down the trailers. There was something else that came out. Oh, Concussion.
Yeah. Starring Luke Wilson as Roger Goodell.
Yeah.
She's the weirdest casting I think I've ever seen in my life.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Next to Will Smith as a African man. Or what, I don't know. It sounded African anyway. He's not American in the movie.
That comes out on Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Let's talk about people with CTE. Merry Christmas. Here's a movie about people getting their brains bashed in.
It reminds us how good we have it this holiday season. Releasing the most depressing
You can still count to 10.
Shit.
You fucking remember that. There's guys that can't count to 10 right now.
Yeah, my Christmas ain't so bad. Shit, I can count. I don't
have the urge to kill anyone. That's all right. I'm good.
When we only got we only saw a few trailers because we walked in when the trailers were on. Same with me and Dave when we were at the other movie. This movie goes by Spotlight. It goes by fast. The Letters is technically shorter than this movie by probably about 20 minutes, and that movie felt like a goddamn eternity. This movie, when I looked at my phone, and only because I'd gotten a couple of texts during the movie, so when the movie was over, I looked at my phone. It was this movie's over 2 hours, and my God, it didn't fucking feel like it.
Right.
It's such a great story. It's such a fantastic fucking movie that, hell, if it had gone a half hour longer and was about them now dealing with all these other stories that are coming in too,
right.
I would have been cool with that. Yeah. I would have been down for this being a 3-hour movie.
I mean, it just goes to show how good of a movie it is. It's pure exposition. Mm-hmm. It is a complete expositional film. It has to be. I mean, it's about a report,
but in a way that's done, that's natural. It's definitely it's like an All the President's Men newspaper flick.
Oh yeah,
or Zodiac. Zodiac. So fucking good. But exposition in a way that feels natural. It feels like these people are having this natural conversation about something that happened to them. Unlike The Letters, which was 100% exposition dialogue that was made up of that made The Last Airbender look like this movie. In which it's a lot of stuff with, so what you're telling me, Reverend? God. For 2 hours.
It's alright. Max Von said I was going to be in Star Wars. It'll be better.
Is he really?
I thought he was.
Right on.
I think.
Cool.
If I remember correctly, I think he was.
Nice.
I'm going to look it up now because I thought he was, but...
Very cool. I like how that movie's been advertised because I know so little about it going into it, and I think that is awesome.
And nobody knows where the fuck Luke's at, which I think is awesome.
Oh, I am so cool with that, especially compared to the Batman v Superman trailer where I feel like I've seen the movie in 3 minutes. Wow.
People were kind of... You know what? People were shitting on Jesse Eisenberg. And I'm like, he looks like he's having so much goddamn fun. I'm like, I can't not like, I like what he's doing there. I'm like, he's just hamming it up, which is fine with me.
My opinion
Especially
on that,
considering you've got friggin' Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill just brooding the shit out of each other that fucking trailer. Which was, no, it was good.
Yeah.
But it was nice to get that, oh, you guys are together. This is great.
My problem with that, and this is just, I don't know how the movie's going to be, but, like, just going by the trailer, like, whenever...
Fucking Max von Sydow.
Awesome.
Lor Santeca. I don't know.
As the voice of Vigo.
Pretty much.
Like, it looks like Jesse Eisenberg is having a blast. It looks like he'll probably be pretty entertaining in the movie. My takeaway with that was more like, not so much that it looks like his performance is going to be bad, but he looks like he's playing the Joker or the Riddler.
I can definitely see the Riddler.
Lex Luthor.
Right.
But, I mean, like, I don't know how it's going to play in the actual movie. I was actually with about 2.5 minutes of that trailer until it gets into actually showing us them working together and seeming. Now I kind of feel like I know how every arc in this movie's gonna go, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
Between like some bad CGI and them fighting, which appears to have no consequences because they're instantly doing like Batman and Robin banter with each other. Like, is she with you? No, I thought she was with you. Suit me up, Uncle Alfred. Oh my God.
Son of a bitch. Because that's the best parallel in a movie you want to kill. Batman and fucking Robin.
Still, Affleck looks amazing in that.
I'll give him his. I think he'll be all right. I think people gave him a lot of shit, but I think he's, and at least he's not. The most annoying thing in the Nolan trilogy is how stupid Bale's voice gets. Yeah. It's all right in the first one. It's not nearly as bad as it is in the next two movies. It just gets worse and worse. So at least he's actually trying to just. I mean, I like Affleck's Batman voice, but he doesn't try and. Where is he? That kind of shit. No, it's more just a. He drops an octave.
It's intimidating. It's intimidating. Which with Bale, I don't know if I was intimidated. I was more like
the way his voice was like.
What are you doing?
Like just shut up and start dropping people off roofs some more. That's
right. I'll just put in 89 Batman so I can talk about throwing Johnny Gobbs off a roof.
I'm Batman.
Oh, man, give me a break, will you? Now, I highly recommend seeing this in the theater.
Oh, yeah, this is a great film.
Yeah, yeah. Highly, highly recommended. When we reviewed Krampus, I said at the beginning of it, I know that there's a lot of Oscar stuff out there now and some great movies, but definitely go see Krampus. It's all about what you're in the mood to see. If you want, like, awesome entertainment, and I fucking love the hell out of Krampus. If you want, like, really cool, like, 80s horror comedy entertainment, please see Krampus before it leaves. If you're not in the mood for that and you do want to see something more more serious, check this out before it leaves your theater. I hope it's doing well. I hope it does do well. I hope we got posters for it. They gave us hell yeah. When I saw this like thing of posters at the front, I thought I thought it was going to be for the letters, because I'm so used to, like, there being mini posters for the religious movies.
Nice.
Which I guess technically it does have religion in it.
Yeah, it is. It's got religious themes in it, that's for sure.
Well, any final thoughts?
I enjoyed it. It's very... If you've had abuses in the family, I will warn you, it might be a little rough for you to take.
Yeah.
But I would still recommend this movie. It's really well done. I don't think there's a character out of place.
No. There's not a character out of place, a scene out of place.
There's no weakness in this movie whatsoever.
I was thinking that when we were watching it. I was like, I've got no weak points about this film. I don't.
It's well acted. It's well written. It flows really well. It's edited well directed.
Moody music.
Yeah, it just works. It works on all the levels that you can think of. Definitely think it's gonna be one of the contenders for Best Picture.
It will be.
Easily, and I could easily see it winning too right now. So, I mean, it depends on what else is coming out, but right now it's got to be up there as a forerunner, a front runner for.
Yeah, the talk I've seen, next week so far the only thing listed next week, which doesn't mean anything. We're a week away from AMC can be slow at like putting up their. Unless it's something like Star Wars, that's on there. But like, next week is right now the only thing listed, and something else could be added. But like is In the Heart of the Sea, the Moby Dick movie that was basis for the story that was basis for Moby Dick. And that's an Oscar season movie. That was originally supposed to come out like last year, but they held it off for a year because they wanted to wait until Oscar season. That looks good.
It should be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it looks entertaining. This movie's more my cup of tea than, like, a movie like that.
I kind of worry about how much Chris Hemsworth can carry a movie basically as the true lead. Because I've
seen Liam Hemsworth try to carry a movie, and it's got to be better than that.
Well, okay. It's got to be better than Liam, yeah. But,
I saw.
Well, because I mean, he was technically the lead in Thor. Thor and Thor: The Dark World. But in my opinion, he's eclipsed in both of those movies by Loki.
Oh, Loki. Yeah. Well,
I
think that he carries it as a hero, as the hero of the movie. I think he does solid. But you're right in the sense that, boy, like with Thor: The Dark World, like. Most of that movie I was really not enjoying until Loki turned up.
Yeah.
Then I was kind of entertained, so I totally get what you're saying. Dave and I were at Black Hat, which wasn't very good. He was good.
It was, okay,
the material was pretty weak.
Well,
but like he was solid in it. He was good in Snow White and the Huntsman, which I mean was more Kristen Stewart's movie. But...
Right. Well. Which is why she's not in the sequel.
I actually liked her in Snow White and the Huntsman, but I'm down with a Huntsman movie.
I think he's one of those actors that's always going to be. He does better work when he's got somebody strong to play off of. Not to say there's gonna. I just don't see anybody in the Heart of the Sea that is like a true, like somebody he could work off of. Maybe, I could be wrong, but...
Maybe they'll get Tom Hiddleston to voice the whale.
Oh, brother. What are you doing?
Or Sean Connery. I am the last one.
You will not take me alive.
Somebody please make a mashup of the trailer for In the Heart of the Sea with the fucking voice from what was it? Dragonheart. Dragonheart, thank you. It was like Dragon Seed? That's not it.
As you see the whale coming up, losers always whine about doing their best. Winners go home and fuck the prom queen.
Carla was the prom queen.
Oh, really?
I'm impressed. So good. Now I gotta
and
go
just
and watch
lands
The Rock.
on the boat and just blows it up.
Oh, best movie of the year.
Holy shit.
See you next week.